All right, welcome. That was called feeding the ducks, Jerrod. That was feeding the ducks.
That had a different groove than I would normally think of, associate with feeding of ducks.
No, yeah, I would agree. I would expect feeding the ducks would be slow at first and then a frenzy, because when you throw the bread down, they just go nuts.
And maybe like jazzy to like do the duck sounds in the background.
Yeah, a little improvisational, like I agree.
Skiddly bop back there.
I didn't hate it though. Most of these songs I've hated so far. That one I didn't hate. I don't know if it's right for us, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I would say our search for the perfect intro music continues.
Yes, I would agree. But last week's I hated. I think it was lo-fi last week.
Yeah, a little too.
Yeah.
We need a little more energy coming
Exactly.
Because at our advanced age, external energy we can get.
Yeah, exactly. So, welcome everybody. This is Ian and Jerrod's Humpday Extravaganza. I'm one co-host, Ian, and that is our other co-host, Jerrod. Every other week, we usually come up with a topic and rant about it, talk about it. Discuss it. It ebbs and flows, and we rely on our audience to be vocal in chat so that we can really discuss it, and then hopefully it's entertaining for everybody. It's entertaining for Jerrod and I, and that's really that'll keep us doing it. But we are hoping that people enjoy it, and I do know, looking at the metrics, people are watching this, maybe not live, but they are watching it. So
I've got a couple of I kind of ran with the theme of topics. Well, maybe didn't run.
Do it.
I kind of sauntered with a couple of with the theme of topics. I've got a couple things to talk about under the guise of topics tonight. Oh, Bag of Rock is on. All right.
So let's see. I was typing while welcoming everybody. And Bagley came in. Hey, Bags.
Bagley is people. One of my favorite people.
And I would say most likely Bagley comes with his daughter. So let's count it as two.
That's right. Pepper people.
Pepper people.
I bet she's a huge fan of the show.
Huge. I think she probably was jamming to this theme song. I bet she's like, that theme song is the way to go.
So speaking of Bagley, first I will say I love babies and little kids.
Sure. What's not to love?
Where I've gone over my friend Mindy and Seth's house when we've done some of our practices for Dr. Nighttime, and their young little baby boy, I guess now a toddler, is there, Mars, and he's such a cutie, and he really likes me, gives these big toothy grins, and we have fun. Well, Bagley had a picture. Bagley's got a young daughter, Pepper. I'm not going to give any other information away about them.
Yeah, could you not dox the child, please?
Them, right? Exactly. Picture of, it's so cute. The picture of Bagley asleep with Pepper.
Oh, I saw that today too.
Oh, that is too cute.
Too cute.
Too much cuteness. I
agree. I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
There were a few pig babies that happened. That sounds bad. Few babies of pig parents. That's a little better. That happened during the shutdown, and they have been really fun to watch. And now I'm getting to meet a few of them, and my God, they are chunky monkeys. They are the cutest things I've seen. So
I love it all. I love the cute pictures of Pepper and Bagley and Bowler and the
and Alyssa's and
There's a picture of Alyssa's. I cannot remember. Is it? I don't want to say the wrong name.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm really bad. I'm bad with adult names, not let alone kid names.
But there's a picture when her little daughter, was taking her first steps.
Oh God!
It was the cutest thing because it was towards her big brother.
Mm-hmm.
Brightly.
Thank you, Bagley.
First steps towards her big brother Oliver, and just like the arms up in the air, like babies when they're first learning to talk. And I just think it's really cute when they take their first steps towards their sibling.
Yeah,
I melt for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I am such a sack of melted cheese.
Are you an older sibling, Jerrod?
I am.
Me too. Me too. I think that's probably why we like it, because we remember that feeling of that adoration. You know, no little siblings can drive you nuts, but there is that protection and you know that I'm a big you take your role as older sibling seriously, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I could do a whole show just talking about how awesome my little sister is.
Yeah, me too.
And she doesn't. I know she doesn't watch this, but so she won't be embarrassed by me talking about.
Right.
Like when we were little kids, we were the little kids, siblings, and everything. And the older we got, the better we could get along together. And a lot of shared experiences. My dad was in the army, so we lived in Germany when we were both very young. And then where we grew up was like away from everybody, out kind of country and everything. But she is just the coolest chick I know. She calls me Big Brother, which
Nice.
gets me every single
time.
My niece, her oldest daughter, 18, just moved out, so she's a little bummed out, and I feel so bad for her. But I'm so much like my niece too. Like when I was 18, I couldn't wait to move out. And
Right.
so my heart breaks for her. But Elaine's my little sister's the best.
So we have the whole bag bowl house watching now. And they're having a conversation. So
it would be really awkward if they got into an argument right here, right?
I know.
Write every comment.
So what's been going on?
Well, this weekend we Saturday we had at Pig our 10-year anniversary show.
How did that go? I was out of town. I want to talk about why I was out of town.
It actually started out with a level 1. Actually, Bowler's level 1. Fortunately, Bowler wasn't able to make it due to disease.
I actually got to sub for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were fantastic.
So Bowler's TA for that was Hannah.
Yep.
Hannah Shiflett, another terrific person in all of our lives.
I'm just getting to know her, and she's like my new favorite person in the world.
She's wonderful. She was wonderful. In fact, I think Bowler was my teacher when I was a TA in Hannah's level 3 class. So Hannah's wonderful, and Hannah was the TA, and she got to introduce the that level 1 showcase, and so exciting. You know, you've TA'd. I mean, it's like when it's your class that's up there performing, it's very much you're very ha ha ha, right? It's like you want so badly for them to not just to do well, but when you get that close to them and you see them do so well and you see them grow, you want everybody who's watching to be able to appreciate all the growth that they made and everything.
Absolutely.
So I love watching in a case like Hannah's where it's her first one and watching her kind of experience those emotions. I was right there by her when it was going on. It was great. I'm so happy. And, usually we say a level 1 showcase, it's like, oh, it's good because they're having fun. This one was like a quality level 1 showcase.
They impressed me. I had seen, so they did 2 showcases. So it was a night that we were performing. It was a Netflix and chill night, and we saw their first showcase. So, and then as it happened, Bowler needed a sub, so I went in. So I had already seen their showcase, so I kind of knew where they were, and then they just, so we did warm-ups, and then we ran their form a few times, and it was just so tight and so good. And they're asking great questions. I as somebody that works with college students and teaching and that sort of thing, I really get to know a class by the level of quality of questions that they ask. Like I put a lot of value on that, and they were just like, they were asking some great questions, more so than I would think at a level 1 would be asking. So it was really
good. My thing with a lot of showcases or a lot of classes in general, if you watch, is the way a lot of them roll out, and you see it in the showcase when you're not teaching. There's 1 or 2 that are like kind of head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, the ones, yeah.
They just have a real knack or talent for it, and there's like the lower levels than that. Some do better than others. Some have better scenes than others. And
right.
That's the way it rolls out there. There's this definitive bloop, 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 bloop. And I always like to look at the 1 or 2 and say, oh, future Pig house team member right there.
Yeah.
That level 1 was unique in that it was pretty solid all around.
Yeah, they definitely, and they were tight. They were more tight than I would think at a level 1 would be. Like we were even talking about the benefits and not so benefits. that doesn't make sense. But
nobody was talking about the not so benefits.
Yeah, I lost how to speak. But the benefits of going on in a cohort versus, maybe like a couple of them couldn't go the next round, and I'm like, there's some benefits to not sticking with your cohort too.
I will tell you the lesson I gleaned from it is the teacher should not be showing up to the showcase. It should just be the TA. Obviously, the teacher being there makes them nervous and can ruin the show.
That's true. That's true.
So what did you have going on this weekend?
I traveled to State College, Pennsylvania, for the Happy Valley XL inaugural improv festival.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I've worked at a college since 1999 and went to grad school before that. So I never really left college. And in the 2000s, a student that I didn't really work that directly with was heavily into improv when I knew him, and we've kept in touch. And he's now a professor of economics, and he opened with 4 other professors, opened an improv house in State College, and they had their first improv. And through the pandemic, I was really involved with Pig, doing a lot of online stuff. Would I Lie to You? All that stuff. But I was also I took a writing class with Happy Valley Improv, and they had weekly online shows that I would go to. And in the comments, I got to know a lot of them. So when I heard they were doing an improv show, I was like, or an improv fest, I was like, I'm going to go. So last Thursday, rented a car and hopped in, and my friend Kate Sales and I went to State College, Pennsylvania, for one of the most fun improv festivals I've been to. You wouldn't have known it was their first one. Like they clearly knew what they liked from improv festivals they went to, and knew what they didn't like, and really put a good show. And they had great teachers. I got to take a course with Jill Bernard, which was something I've always wanted to do. I got to perform in their ensemble set, and it really it jazzed me. So I think just getting away, I was kind of in a rut at work. It's been very busy. I also came down with COVID and in the last month, and I think it just wore me down. So the whole road trip and being with people I didn't know that love improv and getting to perform where nobody knew me, and I got to meet some of these folks that I got to know online. It was a lot of fun. It was really a lot of fun. So I was there, came home on Sunday, and have been missing the whole energy level ever since then,
Yeah, and I have not been to a ton of improv festivals, but every time I walk away from one, it's without a doubt, I'm thinking why isn't everybody going to this?
Right.
Well, you people are missing out on so much fun.
Right.
It's Rhode Island, and I really do. I really love the state of Rhode Island. I love being here, but for fun, people kind of just eat pizza and drink.
Although I did a lot of that in Pennsylvania, so yeah, it was it was a lot of fun, and really it was therapy. My mindset changed. It really I was talking to Kate on our long. It's a 7-hour drive, so we spent plenty of time in the car, and I was kind of reflecting, and I'm like, boy, I try never to dread on Sunday. I try never to dread Mondays, because that's a whole mindset in itself. And I actually really like my job, but it's work. So you do start to dread it. But I was like, I feel like I'm in a much better place to tackle some of the things I have in front of me and that sort of thing. So
that is awesome. Hey, I've got a little off subject, but I've got something that's going to make you happy.
What's that? Yeah!
Oh,
it's been forever.
I missed it. We have talked so many times about, I wish Sam was back. I love Sam so much.
And yeah!
Yes! And all of our favorites are here. This is great.
Woo.
Oh, it's great.
Look at our we got 5 people watching. Now I know one of them's you. We got 5 people watching.
We've gone viral.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. One of the things this is true. Everybody that has just commented on here, I've gotten to see in real life in the last month, and that's a gift in itself. So after like a year and a half of only connecting people through our show or other online, it's like woo, because now I've switched weeks at Pig, so I was missing a whole. And I didn't see Bowler or Bagley, and now I've seen them, and and Sam I've performed with twice since in the last month. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
I will say I feel like Bowler, Bagley, Amy, Sam, each one individually, I have a very special relationship.
Yep.
Sometimes the group, like sometimes there's the bull bag relationship, but each individual, I feel like I have a special relationship with each one that means a lot to me. I have not seen Sam in so long. And
you need to correct that.
And I know, like, I know she wants to perform with me, and I know I want to perform with her, and it's just
you should do it. I believe Sam might have a connection to get you stage time. I don't know if that's true, but
it just got to commit. Like, I'll tell you, me and Bagley for years, once every year, one of us texts the other and goes, "We should do a set. I've got this idea to do a set." And we go, "Yeah, we should. That's great." And then we both completely forget about it. And you know what? I'm going to take it upon myself to start reaching out and being like, and kind of push it more. Because when you and I did a set, that was so much fun. And it was it
was a big confidence booster. I was like, because we, little behind the scenes. I hope I'm not talking out of school, but we didn't do much to prep for that. We were kind of figuring out what we were going to do 5 minutes before we went on, and it just was nice because it wasn't about gimmick. It was just about we know at least the basics. We've had good teachers like Bowler and Bagley, and to get us at the point where we can just go on stage and have fun with it. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. And it was a solid set. We ended up doing a 15-minute mono scene, and it was a good quality mono scene because mono scenes very easily can go bad, and it went well.
I love this.
You should.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
Is this kind of like the whole improv, like the improv version? We should all hang out together sometime. We should all go out for drinks sometime. And you really do like the people, but you never get around to going out with everybody. And then
something.
Head up somewhere. Is this the improv version? We should
do
that.
No, let's take it on, Jerrod. You and I, we'll get a time, and whoever wants to be in it, we'll advertise it to these folks here. Whoever wants to do it. That's the other thing is like we talk about it. I know everybody has good intentions, and then just for whatever reason, either people say, "Oh, it's not mine to take on," or they just get distracted, or whatever. Many different reasons. So, but I bet if we were to say, "Hey, on June 17th, we have the 7:00 slot. Let's do it."
I will say my move is generally to say this would be a good idea. We should do this, and then do nothing and hope somebody else actually does the work to make it happen.
Yes,
that's my move right there, and I am an expert at it.
And Pete definitely told us where we should go. Nice.
There's no more excuse. We're out of excuses now. They're gone.
Yeah. I even know what Alyssa's email is because it's improv. It's the pig address. I don't even have to look it up.
Oh, really? Because it sounds like you're having a hard time coming up with it there.
Well, all of a sudden, this is what went through my head.
So easy, like I know it.
No. This is what went through my head. Is I was like, do I want to give out personal information? And I'm like, it's not in my head. I'm like, why are you worried about that? It's the public pig email address, like improvpig@gmail.com. I can say it. It's not a big deal, but I really did. I was like, oh, I don't want to. It was like I was giving out Alyssa's personal phone number. I had to stop myself.
Let's do that too. Let me grab that.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna do this?
Home phone number.
All right, I'll type the email.
Bring up the keyboard, yeah. Well, I'm thinking we should figure out a date that works for people.
All right. Well, then we need to do the opposite. We need to send everybody on this chat
Yes.
an email. That'll also get started.
You know what? I think I have everybody because I also have Amy's email.
Then it's on you, friend. You're taking this on, and it
is
is in the archives. We never delete these shows because they're gold.
That's right.
Right.
And I know, like, with the people who watch it after we're done, there's so many.
Yeah, except Jerrod usually has Jerrod and Amy has Friday night shows. So,
yeah,
it's probably gonna.
See if there's a night where they don't
see, but then we have childcare issues. This is the problem. I see it all happening now.
We're already running into logistical.
That's
issues.
okay. That's okay.
No time at all.
That's okay. There will be a Friday that you don't do. Bring your own.
Worst case scenario, we do a few. Maybe this will be the start of. So Providence Improv Guild, for the longest time, and currently, one of the big things was the open stage policy. Since I've been associated, there's been house teams, and then there's open stage policy. So you get a team, you can sign, send an email, go up there, and you and your team can perform. And it's a great move. Great way, especially for younger teams and people who are starting out in improv to get a lot of stage time. But in the past, it was stop making me laugh while I'm talking, Bagley.
The answer is yes at any point.
But what we used to see at Pig a lot more was also more experienced performers putting together teams, even if they were short-lived or just kind of ad hoc teams doing performances. And since Pig has kind of come back after the whole pandemic, hasn't really been a lot of that. Sometimes they'll come in, but in general, it's been mostly, kind of a more beginner. There's a few people like Emma and Mike Don and Justin who do put together a lot of sets and shows and things like that. But I think there should be more and more old fogies who are out there kind of getting up there.
I agree. And now we're really talking inside baseball, but this has really been in my head. We talked about it. The diversity committee met a couple weeks ago, and then I was talking to folks at the Improv Fest about their theaters. I really want to bring back jams in a big way. I think that's another thing that's missing. And I know, and I don't, it's just with our new timing and everything, it's been hard to figure out when that fits in. But I really think if we were to tighten up the 7:00 set and start on time, we could do a jam in between two, which could be really, really
maybe like a
kind of awesome, because
I don't know why I just checked my watch there because
Jerrod, I'm sorry. Yeah,
after Jerrod and Ian and Jerrod's Humpday Extravaganza.
Yeah, but we were talking about it, and I was like, and I think it was because I was also talking to doing the subbing for a level 1. They were asking about it, and I'm like, boy, we at the old place we could do it fairly consistently because the timing was always that, and it just meant if someone wanted to do a jam, the house team would host it, and it didn't get in the way of the schedule. Right now we have a second show and that sort of thing. But I was wondering, I was thinking, I don't know if people want to stick around till 10, too late after the 9:00 set, and we have that downtime in between the two. Would it make sense for the 7:00 team to host a short jam, and people could come in early for the 9:00 and jam, and then clear the house? I don't know. I know there was concerns that there isn't enough time between the two, but it's something that I just think that if we really problem solved it, it could be something really cool. And I think it builds that community that I think is the next part of getting back to normal after the pandemic.
Well, you know what I think that the honest cure for that is, I haven't done it and I need to, is like people like us signing up and saying we'll host for the night. Because we had some newer folks who are hosting. It's great. Get them up there, get their shot. But I think that's one of the things that we could take from pre-pandemic Pig is saying, hey, I'm used to hosting and say, hey, stick around for the jam. I know when I teach, I always like to tell my students, hey, go to the shows and do the jam after. If I see you at a show and you don't do the jam, I'm gonna give you shit about it because it's free improv practice. So maybe I think that might be the solution. I have been that guy so far. It's like, oh, I'm going to be tired, not going to stick around for the 9. Where if I just get off my butt and say, you know what, I'm going to host all Saturday night, and I'm going to call for a jam after. And if there's time after the 7 o'clock show, I'll call for a jam. If not, after the 9 o'clock show, I'll call for a jam.
Yeah, Sam, I was thinking like 8:15. Usually we're done with two groups, 8:15. Do a 15-minute jam. We're getting off as doors open. Like I think it works. And it's still, even if you do a jam, you still, if you're staying for the second show, you can still go down to AS 220 and get a drink or what have you. So I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about. But even if we don't do that, then a jam after each of the shows is fine too. So just something. Because we were talking about it in all the theaters that have been really successful building their community back after there we go. That building their community back up after COVID and the houses being closed for so long, jams seem to be one of the ways they've really combated it, and they've bounced back a lot quicker. And I think it gives I've always thought the jams give our levels a safe place to get used to stage time and that sort of thing. And also the confidence to working with more experienced improvisers and all that stuff.
I need to look if I can see if I can find the email, and I'll sign up to host Saturday.
Look at you.
So I can
Look at you.
force that to happen.
Who, this Saturday, Jerrod? This Saturday?
This Saturday.
I'm moving this weekend, or else I'd say I'll sign up to come up on Saturday.
Already excuses.
I know. I have to be out of my luxurious winter house by Monday. So it's moved to the summer place this weekend. And I'm a procrastinator. So even though I could probably get it done in about 8 hours, I'm going to take the full weekend. Yeah.
There you go. I hate moving. So
yeah, I do too. It's the worst. And I move twice a year. So
to kind of talk about our theme tonight,
topics.
And that's right. And to be honest, believe it or not, all the audience, we had a hard time. We waited to the last minute like we always do. And we didn't really topic. We'll make it a topic. Long story short, we didn't actually have a topic, but since the word topic was in there, we said that'll be our topic.
Which was, I didn't realize we were running with that. So I love it. Because I just said it to be joking.
Word.
Like our topic is topics.
Running is a strong word to describe what we're doing.
Yeah, well, I never run. Like even figuratively in speech, I don't even like to call it running. I sauntered with
it. So first topic I'm going to talk about is diners. Mm-hmm. And the reason I put it as a topic, because I think that people don't define what makes a diner correctly. So if you were to define a diner, Ian, how would you describe what makes a diner?
Okay. First of all, get out of my head. Do you know that my dad is a diner aficionado, like history and all this stuff, and it's rubbed off on me? So this is really weird that you brought this up.
This might not go well for me because you might have
no. I'm making it sound, the man loves a meatloaf plate. You know what I'm saying? And diners usually have the best meatloaf plates. That's what it all comes down to. I do realize people think of diners in a very different. I needed to be in the train car with the jukebox at the table, the little flip the thing and a special, and the best diners are open till the wee hours of the morning. Those are kind of my criteria. Everything else is diner adjacent. Like, I get it. If you don't have the train car, you can still, but for me, that's your, if you're going to give out prizes for diners, those are the categories that I'm going to be basing.
Yeah. And like the history of diners, that's what they were. They were the diner cars of trains.
Do you know where they were made?
Was it like Worcester or something like that? Yes. We know way too much about diners.
Yes. And do you know why they were that shape?
Tell us.
Because they were shipped by train, and they were totally modular. Like they had, they would go right on the foundation and be ready to go. They were very cheap, so they were shipped by train. So they had to fit on a flatbed on a train, so they couldn't be that wide. So so they were like, let's make them shaped.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So, and we talk about that because like diners, like you say, a lot of people say the diner, it's got the train car, or it's got to have that. We'll call it a food bar where it's got those stools that are just, connected to the floor, and you're sitting up at the long table, but also some tables behind. But we kind of have to expand it more than that now, I think, because there's not many of those. There's restaurants that we could call a diner. Like, when I think of a diner, I also think of a restaurant with like no specific ethnic culinary focus. And I couldn't think of a better way to describe it because like a steakhouse doesn't really have an ethnic culinary focus, but it's not something I would consider to be a diner. I guess,
well, let's say this. I would say.
Don't worry, we're getting to what I've got it defined as.
Okay, trucker, like side of the road trucker. They don't want anything fancy. They want to get in and out. It's a rest on the road, but it isn't like they're looking for duck à l'orange, right?
Right. But also, like, not every diner is in a place that a trucker can get to.
True.
And there's certain chains that make us think maybe they're diner, maybe they're closer than others. So I figured out what the most important, the number one, because there's a lot of things that have to be there. But
I have a feeling we're going to disagree. Go ahead.
Something being a diner. Breakfast served all day.
Oh!
The number one defining important
factor. So breakfast all the time.
Yep. Breakfast available all day. You can get over easy eggs whenever you want. Number one important quality.
Yep. I fully support that.
And that's why Denny's,
yes,
which is a chain, but Denny's is a lot closer to being a diner than, say, Applebee's.
Oh, I would agree with Amy on this one.
Oh, come on.
I would absolutely agree with Amy. I do think you don't want chains.
Diner stuff. So Denny's, I will call diner adjacent. I see closer to being a diner.
But Denny's leaned into and then had their own offshoot, Denny's Diner. Like there's one.
They call themselves America's Diner.
Yeah. Well, no. Now they even have like the one on Bald Hill Road in Warwick is in a train car.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
But they're going for it. Also, Waffle House to me is very, very dinery. Like,
that's a good point. That is a good point.
Food is all very much diner food. They're right there cooking.
Is there a chain in the Northeast? Because that's very specific to south of the Mason-Dixon.
The farthest north I've personally seen one is Virginia.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's when you get down.
No. But I'm saying, is there a chain that's similar, analogous to Waffle House up here?
I've never seen
Friendlies, but they don't do breakfast all the time, and
Newport Creamery, they don't do.
Yeah, no.
Papagino's.
So I might say Waffle House is the exception. Maybe the only chain I will put into that. I'm making big statements without thinking too much about it.
But I think that has to be the number. I'm not saying it's the only defining quality, but I think that's the most important defining quality of whether or not something is a diner. Because I think if you had a diner-looking place,
yeah.
And there's one I've been to one, and I think there's another one up by Springfield, Mass, that has the diner look, but it's serving prime rib and steak.
Yes, I used to live in Springfield, so yes, there is, and yes, they do.
And like I couldn't think of that place as a diner. It's like a restaurant wearing a diner costume.
No, Amy, I could see people making an argument, but I think ultimately no with the Cracker Barrel. I think you're right about that.
And it's funny because Cracker Barrel serves like what you could consider diner food. They have breakfast all day, but that also shows why just that alone isn't enough because it comes with a different vibe. It's no bar seating. It's always got the store. I think Cracker Barrel you could define as a rocking chair store.
That has food?
That has food, yeah.
A rocking chair store that has food. Yes,
And that
agreed.
little triangle peg game.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jordan's Furniture that has movies.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these places that are known for one thing
Right.
and serve food.
You can go to IKEA and get Swedish meatballs.
You
Same
could.
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
So that brings me to the climate.
So why is this just a topic? Diners.
I think that diners, by people that are maybe definition would have been a better.
That's okay.
For
That's
that,
okay.
it's like kind of under, I think, the incorrect umbrella.
Well, I think you need to define something before you can really talk about it. Like you and I could be talking about two different things if we don't define it. And I think it's important,
Yeah.
As something that is so important as the American diner. That's the other thing, American diner. I think it is uniquely. There are other things in other countries that are their own, but the American diner is, and I'll include Canada because on that.
Well, and weren't diners originally like generally owned by Greek immigrants?
I know it was a business that was, Greek immigrants took to, but I don't know.
Which, and before we go on, I want to say, I think that makes something very American.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Started by immigrants that becomes a part of the culture or part of the fabric of Americana.
And I gotta watch out about the train stuff because the pop culturiest of diners would arguably be Mel's Diner from Alice, and I don't think that was a train car.
You know what's funny is before you said it, but when you first started saying it, I knew exactly where you were going. That is such a great point. It's almost like for a big part of a diner is it has to be kind of shiny, aluminum colored.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think open 22 hours out of the day. They can close for a couple hours in the from 3 to 5 or when bars close, right? That's fine. Yeah. But they, no, I love a diner. You're hard pressed for me not to, like, if I'm walking down the street and I don't know I don't know where I want to eat, like I'm in a strange town and I see a diner, I'm walking in there.
Yeah, you know what you're gonna get, greasy spoon type of thing.
Oh, I love a greasy spoon.
Get some over easy eggs and some greasy hash browns, and you are good.
And some sausage and
Diners are like one of the only places in the Northeast where you can get biscuits and gravy.
Have you been to Percy's?
Probably.
Place in East Providence. That's one of my favorite places.
Possibly.
Unlimited eggs, Jerrod. Unlimited eggs.
I will say that I think I've heard of that, and that's quite the offer. All the eggs you can eat.
They'll ask you'll order because my standard order for breakfast at any breakfast place, but especially a diner, is home fries, fried egg, white toast, and usually sausage if it's links. I don't mind a patty on a sandwich, but I'd rather have links when it's on its own. If they don't have links, I'll do bacon. But you go into Percy's, you order that, and their question. So you're always going to get what kind of toast? How do you want your eggs? That those kind of questions. The third question: how many eggs you want? Could say 5 if you wanted to.
Could you give them your credit card and open up an egg tab?
I think yes. And here's the other thing. Jerrod, you get to the end of your meal. Ask, want any more eggs? No, I'm good.
You could be like a round of eggs for everyone, and one hard-boiled egg or one over easy egg for everybody in the restaurant. I like that. That's less of a liver intensive type of bar, but more of a heart disease intensive.
Yeah, I think it's you after spending the evening messing up your liver, you can switch organs and mess up your heart with your breakfast.
Yes.
Give your livers a little bit of a rest.
And really, for a lot of people, myself included, a big part of coming into what I'd consider the diner experience was you'd go out drinking all night, and then in the wee hours of the morning, you stop at a diner, eat some greasy diner food, get that grease, and you kind of suck the alcohol out, hopefully help out with the hangover the next day.
Let me just so Amy, the comment is late night hours doesn't carry over in the suburban diners here though. If they're not convenient to truckers or nightclubs, they close early in the afternoon. All right, Amy, I will say that. So I won't say that it has to be 24 hours. However, when I am giving out the awards, they are not going to score high if they're not open 24 hours. I want a fryer later that never turns off.
So I think it's tough to still be considered a diner if you close that early.
Yeah.
I think those are like the little places you see a lot of these in Rhode Island, like the places that often they advertise their hot wieners on the outside. And like you call them Rhode Island diners, but I wouldn't consider them diners.
Right.
You know,
This is a nationwide. This isn't a regional thing. It is. If I'm driving to Arizona, I should be able to rate it by the same quality as.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
But that brings me to that, like those little joints like that sell hot wieners and maybe 2 or 3 kinds of grinders and some weird stuff. Rhode Islanders, we should be more annoying about those places because you never have a bad meal at those places.
No.
Unhealthy meals. We should be as annoying about those places as New Yorkers are about bodegas. And we'd be totally justified in doing so.
I totally agree. So, all right. So diners. So here we go. We're going to do a set with everybody in the chat. And then we're going to go find an all-night diner and chow down.
We have to agree that it's a diner when we go there.
Right. Is the Southside Diner, where is the one that was next to Old Pig?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. We'll find one.
Oh, you know what? If it serves pizza, it cannot be a diner. Hard and fast rule.
Wow. I would agree with that, but wow, that is a strong stance.
Yes. Nothing against pizza. Nothing against places.
But they got their own stores. Don't be.
Yeah. You serve pizza, you're not a diner. I would say I don't make the rules, but I think I make the rules when it comes to this now.
Yeah. Home fries or hash browns, Jerrod?
So the peak of home fries is higher than the peak of hash browns, but the floor of home fries is lower than the floor of hash browns. Like hash browns, I know what I'm getting. Potato, and then I decide what goes
hard to mess them up.
Yeah. Home fries, they can put some really good stuff in them, and
you can get get a superior, but you can get an inferior very easily.
Yeah,
and you know what it is? And you know what it is? People that want to spice that shit up. Don't do it. Onions should be the main flavor of.
That's where they lose me. I hate onions. When people
I love onions, and I love home fries with onions.
Shallots are good. Onions, I don't want oniony home fries. A good home fries should be like not that far of a step away from hash.
Hey, this is so in my household, I have been long line of breakfast cookers in my family, and when I make home fries, I do the potatoes up a day before so they have a chance to cool down, and I let them sit with the onions. They put in when they're warm, so the onions start kind of, and then the next day you cook up a pound of bacon, and then the potatoes go into that bacon fat, and that is with onions and a little bit of garlic.
If you like pluck the onions out after they'd sat in them, I'd be good with that. I could enjoy that flavor, but I cannot eat.
I love onions. I love onions.
God, they are a devil fruit. I cannot stand onions. Honestly, I think if there was a politician, I don't care what else they stand for, but if they stood up and said, "I will make onions illegal in America," they'd get my vote. That my number one political stance.
Wow,
fuck onions.
That's hard. You've lost some of our viewers, I've noticed. So
that's true. We have a very pro-onion viewing.
Yeah, it just plummeted. It just plummeted.
That's what, and that's why we don't.
You went political. That's why you went political.
Yeah, I went political. That's why we don't, because it divides people.
Exactly.
So speaking of topics,
yes,
I have another thing.
Okay.
I put this one under topics first, actually, because I think it has been placed under the wrong topics. and that's the Avengers.
Okay.
People look at the Avengers and they put in they put it under topics of superhero movies, which is accurate, but that's not what their background is. They really don't. They're actually very different from the old Superman movies and the Batman movies. The only ones that come close are like the Spider-Man and X-Men movies. But really, there's a big difference because, well, I would say they have as much in common with those as the Harry Potter movies. The reason for that is it's a very long, extended series. We used to not have that in the movies. There'd be usually 3 movies, right? Like the Star Wars model right there. There was some that might go more, but Harry Potter was the first series, of course, because of the books, where it went well beyond 3, when there was a lot, and it stayed in the same world throughout the whole time, and it all came to this denouement, this ending of the whole movie, and that really hadn't happened before at that level. Different than, say, the Fast and Furious, because to me, they're not really going towards something. It's not a journey. It's just each one is just its own thing. And we can make more money if we do another one. So the topic that I think the Avengers movies are really what they're the children of. We're going to talk about this one now. So here's the difference with these. I think the horror movies are more like Fast and Furious in that each one, for the most part, if they go beyond 3, it tends to be, okay, this is going to be the last one. Until, we can make more money, this next one will be the last one. I don't think with horror movies, I can't think of a franchise that went beyond 3 movies where after they got to the 3rd one, it was part of any original plan. I think Avengers are the children of 80s and 90s sitcoms. Here's why. So those 80s and 90s sitcoms they're obviously too long to be, you can't continue. You can't put Seinfeld or let's say the Drew Carey show in one 2-hour movie. Much too long just to do one thing, like the Avengers. To tell the whole story, it's got to be so much longer. Here's another thing that they have that are familiar. So you did like Thor and Iron Man and Captain America, but then you have the Avengers movie. Crossover episodes. 80s and 90s sitcoms, they would go for a while, but they would always, so many of them would have that big crossover episode. Sometimes it'd be just one night where it might be the 4 shows, 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, but they're really all connected because it's one big crossover episode. That's the actual Avengers movies. And the third way they're the children of the 80s and 90s sitcoms, cameos. They love putting cameos of famous people in 80s and 90s sitcoms. More than any other TV genre that I can think of outside of like Sesame Street. They love cameos. And every Marvel movie, every single one, they put like these big star actors in. It's kind of crazy. And I don't know that it's like they're looking for the best, most highly trained actors out there. But every single one, there's a non-recurring character who's a big star. Tommy Lee Jones was in Captain America. You had Jeff Bridges in Iron Man. Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther. Every single one has big...
Okay, well, all right. I got to pick a little bit of this apart.
I'm just saying they are the children. That is...
But Michael B. Jordan was actually a star of the movie and not a cameo. Like a cameo is a walk-on, like a throwaway, right? I mean, by definition, a cameo.
Fair enough, but I would also say that you would see like short-lived characters, like Tom Selleck in Friends.
Yeah. Those we would argue. Yes,
more likely to pluck somebody. Yeah, just to have somebody famous in there for a while.
But here's the thing: with sitcoms of the '80s, no real arc to the season. You could watch any of those episodes for the most part out of order. That is not true of the Marvel Universe. See, I think Marvel Universe is of its own. It may have been inspired by some things, and I would agree some of this. But with Marvel, what they were doing is like you had the plot of each movie, which were self-contained. Yeah. Thor, for most of it, was just Thor, right? And then what was happening is those extra credit scenes at the end was advancing. It was like a mini story that was connecting each movie. And that was unique.
The proper way, maybe, Marvel movies are the children of 80s and 90s sitcoms and Harry Potter. And the people who are making them are either the 80s and 90s sitcom age,
Well, yeah.
or they're the Harry Potter age.
Yeah, no, but I do think, yes, I think all these things are inspired, but I think they did in a way that they took the best of things and made it very unique and something I'm just always going to be amazed. And it's kind of nice that you could see what DC's failing to do. It just shows it wasn't easy. You could have the will to do exactly that, make a 23 movie story arc and wrap it up in a nice bow and be able to keep on telling the story by, bringing in new things. But then you look at DC, who so badly wanted to do it, but had no patience and no forethought. And also in a way, the Star Wars sequels, where Jesus, if someone had just said, what's going to happen over these 3 movies so that it makes sense? Just, I don't need you. You can write the script and you can do it, but let's just do the beats over the next 3 movies so we know we have a coherent story and that the second one doesn't mess with what the first one did and the third one needs to fix everything that happened. Let's just have one meeting where we just say, this is what we have to accomplish, these little things. And Marvel did it. Marvel was like, here, 23 movies. And then Iron Man. Did they know what Avengers was going to be a thing in Iron Man? No, they didn't even know if there was going to be an Iron Man 2 in Iron Man. But they had the forethought. And it's because it was people that have been doing this in their comic books for years and years and years. Yeah. And they took the model of a comic book where every 2 years something changes and they're so good at rewriting history. Like they're experts at it, and I think they were just uniquely positioned to be able to do this in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it just, you can nitpick, and there are things that you can really get on, but for me, what they did, all that other stuff is, we can do better, but it really doesn't matter because they did something nobody else has ever done before. And that's have us all invested. I didn't like Doctor Strange as much, but again, I don't care because I loved the Avengers at the end of those phases. I loved it.
Yeah.
Tears.
Tears. Endgame. I could every week talk about how much Endgame. I've never looked forward to a movie as much as I look forward to it. Could not wait to go see it. Saw it in the theater a couple times even. I was so excited. Yeah, they did. You couldn't have done that better. And it would have been so easy to get wrong. And look at DC. I love coming out and criticizing what DC does because they tried to create that DC verse and they failed. Even on TV, they tried to create the Arrowverse, which wasn't awful. I won't say it was awful.
I will argue they did the best universe on TV that's ever been.
And the only problem with that one is it's just tough to do in TV.
Yeah, and it's not deep. It's cartoony. It's kind of like one step of the '60s Batman. It's it's just there's a lot of unbelievable stuff that happens. But
then like the whole Godzilla versus King Kong, they call that the Titanverse. They call that the Titanverse themselves.
Right.
Nobody else outside of
the
Titanverse. But now everybody wants to try and do that.
Yeah, did you hear the newest one? This one's my favorite.
Godzilla versus King Kong?
No. They have a new universe. They announced. They've been talking about. It's the do you watch Yellowstone?
Oh no, but I'm aware of Yellowstone.
So Taylor Sheridan, created the Yellowstone, which is really good. Kevin Costner vehicle. Then they did a prequel to it called 1883. The Yellowstone is set today's. It's about a ranch, and it's quickly becoming, everybody's trying to get the land because it's so valuable, and there's a lot of politics. Really good show. And then they decided to do this 1883. It was when this family first got the land for the ranch, and now they've announced they're doing like 1903. So they're going to do like 20 years later to kind of do these prequels, and they're calling it a universe. Paramount Plus is 100% in that they're doing this universe. So it's the first time it's not a sci-fi thing. However, it goes along with my theory that superhero movies are this era's cowboy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. People, it's about good versus evil. It's about people that are thrust into situations that they have no business being thrust into and doing the right thing, helping the little guy, that sort of thing. So
yeah, I went from cowboy movies to cop movies were the same thing for a while.
Exactly.
Not very binary, very black and white. These are the good guys, these are the bad guys. And even when they try to do like the sympathetic villain or the troubled hero, it's so tiny that
it's so tiny.
You're never really conflicted. I enjoy actually like productions where like nobody is very good, like Succession. Love that show.
There's nobody to root for because every time you
guys.
root for somebody, they fuck it up.
Yeah, good guys.
No good guys.
And they keep sucking you in, and you keep, oh, he's a good guy. No, he's a piece of shit again. That's right.
Yeah. Oh no. He said something funny and now he's getting shit on. I really feel bad for him. Oh, look at him. He's a piece of crap. I don't feel bad for him anymore. Right? So, but I had some. Oh, I will say this. You know what I was watching 5 minutes before we jumped on this show tonight?
How would I know that, Ian? How would I know that?
Because you know me. The new Chippendales Rescue Rangers on Disney Plus.
Is it in the Chippendales verse?
It is in the Chippendales. It's Jerrod. Watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it Disney Plus?
Yeah. Yeah. It's got Andy Samberg and John Mulaney as the voices.
Okay.
But it's playing with tropes, and from what I understand, it has a lot of adult humor in it. So I'm 10 minutes in, but I'm 10 minutes all in. Like it was like, oh, I didn't want to turn it off. I was like, oh, I'll be So
I will say I've had a weird resurgence when it comes to cartoons. Like as a kid, loved cartoons, couldn't get enough of them. As a young adult, jumped on the Simpsons train. And there was the other ones like Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, things that kind of come and go. Rick and Morty that are okay sometimes, but I really like got away from them. I was never like into Adult Swim. I don't know why. I never end up getting into it. But what is the superhero one on Amazon Prime? Invincible. I was very invested in that. And on HBO, they've got all of these DC comic cartoon movies. And it makes it.
And they're based off the comics, which is kind of nice. So
a buddy of mine kind of put it perfectly. He's like, I don't know why their live action movies are so bad, why the storylines are so bad, but the cartoons are done so well. They're so good
because they're straight out of the comic books, real writers, and they adapt and they don't try to change it.
So I could see myself falling.
And with Rescue Rangers, they're playing with animation, so it's like Roger Rabbit. Every character is different. Like, and they haven't explained it, but they did flashbacks for Chip and Dale to get to where they are now. And in this universe, they starred in the Rescue Rangers back in the 90s as they were playing characters, right? So these are the actors playing the characters, and all of a sudden says, yeah, I was switched over to 3D, and he's like a Pixar character now. But the other one's a cartoon. So they're playing with, and then there's humans. And in fact, they've already run into Roger Rabbit, which is funny.
Really?
Yeah. And because Disney now owns so much property, there are so many characters they're playing around with. And I read an article. It's like, this is what Warner Brothers should have done with the new Space Jam. Like with Space Jam, they ignored their property and played with all these other things, and it didn't hit. And I didn't see it, but I read that review. And here it is. It's like, no, it's just really, really Chippendale's doing it right,
So I was just hurrying up and binging this.
Yeah.
So of course I didn't get anything wrong. I find it. So Chippendale dancers, how have they not been sued by Disney?
I think they were first. I think Chippendale were a ripoff of Chippendale furniture.
Really?
And they made the joke in the first episode. They actually referenced the dancer. They actually referenced.
Well, I think at this
furniture
point
and
they
the
draw a
dancers.
line because of the name. But you would think something like Disney, just
Yeah.
a power right there, massive corporation of, an army of highly paid lawyers there.
It's a good question, but I do think it's because they don't own the rights. They're borrowing it themselves, that sort of thing. That would be my guess.
Possible future investigative series.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be like the cereal.
But cartoons and male exotic dancer.
And lawsuits. We'll have Bagley come on as a guest
Guess attorney,
expert.
Yeah. I think Bagley and Bowler had to take off.
Probably.
Yes.
Oh my God. Another headline about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I'm so done with it.
So you know what? Let's talk a little bit about that because I have a kind of a thought on it. And I made a joke on my Facebook a few weeks ago. It was after the whole story of Amber Heard pooping on Johnny Depp's bed. And I just kind of heard it in passing, not paying a lot of attention. So I did a Mark Safe from Amber Heard pooping on my bed. And I really wasn't sure about whether or not I was going to put that on there, only because this was kind of early on in it. And I was starting to see a crowd that was taking these shots at Amber Heard in a way that I wasn't in with. It was a lot of misogynistic kind of qualities to the criticisms that were coming out on it. And my initial thought on it was there's no good guys in this. They're both bad. But I haven't been paying a lot of attention. Maybe they're
haven't.
Sure it's not evenly weighted.
That's what makes me resent this whole thing is I've really tried not to be immersed and know anything about it because I really do believe these civil things should be as private as possible. I can't. Like my watch won't let me. I just got an update, and I was really hoping it was like jury or the judge is coming back, and it's more friggin' headlines.
It's trashy tabloid journalism.
Yeah.
And for the people out there who are like, the news doesn't tell us the news, just tells us the sensationalist, and it's just exploitive and it's not doing it right. Sorry, you, the audience, are sucking this up. People are all talking about it, and it, like you said, it's a civil case. It should not be news for any of us right now. No. It's trashy tabloid journalism. It's an ugly divorce that followed an ugly, shitty marriage. Yeah, should not be anybody's business.
Yeah,
and some people try to make think pieces about it. It's a chance to learn about how people who treat people in certain ways in relationships get viewed by others. Blah 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 blah. That's fine, but that's not a think piece. That's just a mere observation that is a step away from the core of trashy tabloidism of something that's none of our business. And people are infatuated with it. They are. The Kardashian thing, only I'm on the leading edge of criticizing people who watch this. I mean, people have been like criticizing the whole, people who pay attention to Kardashians for a long time. This one, I'm at the forefront of it. You heard it here first, folks.
Well, I'm going to say one more thing. The one thing that I can say I learned from this case, court TV is still a thing. I went out to dinner last night and sat at the bar, and it was on at the bar. I didn't know court TV was a thing. I didn't know either. Yeah, so, but the reason I was out for dinner last night is I was killing time because I went and I saw Top Gun Maverick, a special showing last night.
Oh,
I'm going to give it the Ian seal of approval. It's good. Not earth shattering, but it was fun. It was really fun.
That's all I want from it. That's all I want.
You'll be totally satisfied. Go in with no expectations. Everybody does their job. Tom Cruise is crazy, but he's fun to watch. And and they didn't. And it made sense that in his 50s he would be in this role. Like they made it make sense.
That's all I want from that movie. Because one thing that I hate.
What's that?
Nostalgia. I hate nostalgia.
Yes.
And too often we see it presented in movies or TV shows or whatever and they make the whole focus of it on the nostalgia, and I hate nostalgia.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it's a weak crutch that gets used, and that was my big concern for Top Gun 2, because
in fact, you don't even really need to see the original Top Gun, and when you do nostalgia, if they lean on it, you have to know what you're nostalgic for, right? So, and I would say, okay, you may be a little bit, like it's the stuff about Goose's son. You might be a little bit lost, but they do enough flashbacks and that sort of thing that you understand it's its own movie in its own right. So yeah, I went in kind of thinking this is either going to be okay or it's going to be horrible. And it was okay. It was very enjoyable 2 hours.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's really all that I do want.
Well, I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. I went to the new Apple Cinemas over in Warwick.
Yeah.
So the outside looks exactly the same, but they redid the lobby and they redid all the theaters and things.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do that.
Yeah, they had very little seating. So they did a 7:00 show, I think, at every theater. So Showcase was pretty much sold out, and I found this out last minute. So I needed 2 seats together, and Apple had them, and I was like, my friend Becky and I have been wanting to check out Apple, so we were like, let's go there. So Jerrod, the funniest thing happened to me last night when we went there. So they're very electronic oriented in that they don't sell you tickets in person. You have to go to a kiosk, and they have like a lot of them. And then they print out, and you order your concessions all at once, and your ticket, and all that stuff. So I had ordered the tickets online, and then when I got there, I wanted a concession, and there was a long line for the concession. I said, "Ooh, wonder if I order it on the computer, if I will bypass that line, right?" So I do. I put my order in electronically. Well, there's this kid who will forever be known to me as Maverick because he was the star last night. He saw me order it, and he comes over very serious and very intense and goes, "Did you order concession?" I said, "Yeah." "On that?" "Yeah." "What did you get?" And he's got a name tag on, so I know he works for the place, right? So I look, I say,
random stranger going around intensely asking what you just ordered.
Right. I said, "I got a regular soda and a regular popcorn." "All right, I'll be right back." Jerry, he runs, and he does a Dukes of Hazzard slide over the counter to behind the counter. It was amazing. Most amazing thing I've ever seen.
So he
grabs. What's that?
Oh, go on. I don't want to.
Yeah. So they use tubs, no bags, tubs.
Okay.
And so he comes back, does the Dukes of Hazzard slide on the way back, hands me the bucket, hands me the drink. He says, "Okay, drinks are over there." And they have Pepsi Freestyle. It's like you can get any flavor you want.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Now we do things differently here. You get your own popcorn, and you can put your butter on yourself." And the butter putting on is pretty much everywhere. But what it is they have the popcorn machine, and you push a button and it dispenses popcorn into your bucket. So you can stop it and then put butter on it, which is right next door. Right? Loved it. Right? But he's explaining me all of this. And he's like, "Yeah, at Apple, we do things different." And then he just walks away. That was my experience getting concessions at Apple Movies. And I'll tell you, it was worth the price of admission. And that young man, who I will never forget, he will be known as Maverick because he wasn't flying fighter jets. He was a popcorn jockey. And you know something? Everybody needs to do their job as well as this 17-year-old.
So I am so on board with that. And as any viewer of this knows, you and I are big on treating people in customer service well. Always have to do that. But I feel like this is an opportunity to highlight a young hero, highlight somebody who is out there and like, did you get his name?
No. I mean, and it bothers me. And after the movie, my friend Becky, who was with me last night, just so I know she's listening, we went out afterwards, and I needed to show Becky because she wasn't with me. We had sat down, and then I went out to get snacks, and so I had to tell her everything, And after the show, I was like, I need to show you Maverick, and we couldn't find Maverick, but I did. I showed her the whole
Yeah.
showed her the scene of the crime, as it were. That's where he slid across. That's where he got the popcorn, and that's where, you know. And I'm like, and Apple's a little bit further away from where I live, and I have the Showcase subscribes where I pay a flat fee and can see 3 free movies a month. So it's hard for me not to go to Showcase. Like last night made perfect sense because they didn't have great seats at Showcase, so good time to check out Apple. But I'm telling you, if I knew Maverick was going to be there, it's worth the price of admission. It really, I got that great story out of it, and I just enjoyed the entire, you know, a mundane thing. In fact, I was kind of dreading getting popcorn because I saw the line.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, the best part, the movie was great, but it was the getting the concession was a really big part of last night. You know,
you reeled me right into Maverick. Like that's the closest theater to me. I'm thinking to myself right now, I don't really carry much cash, but I'm going to carry some with me. Because if I go there and I get Maverick,
here's the thing: you don't even need to know his name. You don't even know.
Oh no!
I'll tell you, he's got dark hair, 17, 5'10", but it's you will know by the energy. You will know because this wasn't, the other coworkers didn't have this type of energy. This kid's unique. Maverick is a Maverick. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to get confused by, you know, Schleppy over there.
Yeah.
Schleppy's just, you know, he's getting paid hourly, and he's thinking about, you know, the next time he's going to get high in the parking lot. Schleppy isn't going to be confused for Maverick.
I needed this story. I needed to know there are Mavericks in the world. I feel so much better just knowing that this kid is out there.
He's out there, man.
Concessions.
He is out there. He is out there. I kind of just want to go back, sit in the lobby, and wait till the downtime. I want to find out if this kid has a TikTok. I want to know if how can I get more Maverick in my life?
And just in case he happens to somehow
he's one of our 5 tonight.
I want you to know this is not us. We are not like making fun of you or anything.
Not at all.
Legitimately, I am impressed, and I just heard the story.
I am not kidding. It made my night. It took away some of the mundane, you know, and Jerrod and I were talking about this before we started the show.
Did he look like he had living parents? Because if not, I'll adopt that kid.
I think yes. I think he's very well supported. He was comfortable in his own skin. You know what I'm saying?
Good. Just in case.
Jerrod, a Dukes of Hazzard slide to get a bucket. Like he didn't need to do that. He could have walked around.
I'll be a high school graduation kid. I'll clap and call you son.
Yeah. He was so excited that I chose to use, you know, clearly they want you to use those computers, and clearly people bought their tickets online, but they were very happy to line up to get their popcorn and soda. And when he saw me understand what they're trying to accomplish, I think he was excited. He was like, "You, sir, are using the equipment as it was intended, and I am excited." And that excitement caused me to jump across the counter.
You know, it's funny how something kind of, I don't want to like minimize it, but I kind of have to. Something that's pretty small has brought so much joy into people's lives just out of the sheer excitement that he had, and ended up doing a great job because of it. You experienced that and was like, I can't wait to tell the story. And I heard the story, and I'm like, this is the best story I've heard all week.
And Becky just reminded me of another piece of the story. But then Becky wasn't with me. I got to go because the movie hadn't started. I got to go and tell her the story, and she got excited. And I swear, I think we were in better spirits to receive the movie and enjoyed it just that much more because you didn't start from, you started from, you know, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So, the whole Apple infrastructure, unfortunately, they're taking after CVS, and you get these mile-long receipts for a QR code. So I went on and ordered my ticket. They texted and emailed me a QR code. So you would think that would be your ticket. But no, you go in and you got to scan the QR code, and then it prints out another QR code on top of the QR code you got to go on a foot long receipt that says nothing except for the QR code. So that was a little annoying. And then when I got my concession, another QR code. No one needed that QR code. No one asked for it, but another really long thing. So we were a little bit concerned about the amount of QR codes that this place is generating. So,
yeah, especially as Earth's resources are getting depleted.
I didn't need paper in this transaction. And this is funny.
You know how much Earth has to be moved to get one QR code? It's
right.
destroying the environment.
It's destroying, yeah. And QR codes were made so you didn't have to print them out, right? I mean, they've taken something that solved a problem and incorporated it into the problem that they were going to solve. And then the other thing, Jerrod, is like they redid all their seats, so it has the recliners, and you got the tray that swings in front of you. So I had my popcorn on that, and I unloaded my pockets of all these receipts, and there was a harsh wind at one point, and they fell all over the floor. And Becky's like, they're gonna kick you out. You no longer have these QR codes. And I'm like, yeah, now I'm worried about my huge receipt getting caught up in the wind and flying away in the theater. I was just like, but I have it on they texted it to me. We had the perfect transaction. I could just show you my phone.
And here's my thought on QR codes, and like they're ubiquitous now. We spend a lot of time on the internet trying to prove that we're not robots.
Yeah.
But then everywhere they're trying to talk to us like we're robots. Yeah. That's what QR codes really are. So,
well, and it's funny. It was another piece of technology that didn't take off at first. It went away, and then they came back like 1,000, and now they're like everywhere. Because remember, QR codes were like 2010, and people were like, I don't know how to read that. I got to download a separate app.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. And now
look at us.
Now look at us. But again, sometimes it's like, if the QR code is on your phone, I can't do anything with that because it's on my phone. Like if I don't have a reader, it's on my phone.
Yeah, and I know like restaurants moving to QR codes and everything. A lot of people
that bothers me. That bothers me. Watching my parents struggle with it because they struggle with it, and it's just wrong. Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, during COVID, I got it, but we need to go back to paper.
So here's where I think QR codes could be kind of handy if they replaced barcodes with QR codes. And here's why. When I was a youngin', and when you used to go to the supermarket and the cashiers would all be clickety-clackety typing away, they had those little things that would put the price on all the items in the store. So you always know what it was. Now you go to the supermarket, you go to any store, some of them, sometimes they'll have the price underneath, and you've got to look at the little tiny print to see if it's the price for the thing that you're looking at.
And those prices could be off because they'll update the database, but not necessarily replace the print.
And some stores, they'll put a few barcode scanners in there. Why not either A, put QR codes on everything that are tied to the store so you can see what the price is, or B, barcode scanners on your phone that could also tie into the store. That'd be a great place for QR codes because that pisses me off. Now, come and put me in a better mood.
Well, we're going to open up our own store. Call it QR Codes Are Us.
We will make Maverick the evening manager there.
QR Us. That's what we're going to call it. QR Us.
No, that's a bad idea. I just had a bad idea. I was going to say QRI for the straight guys. But we shouldn't call it that.
Yeah, no. We're going to ostracize a lot of people in that. And actually, we're going to attract a lot of people that I do not want to have anything to do with. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We need the queer people. We need,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? There was something else that I wanted to bring up today. So go see Top Gun. Oh, so I at the top of the show, I need to say this because it's ego. So I went to the Improv Fest this weekend, and I hung out with one of the voice actors that's going to be in the Bob's Burger movie this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, Jamie Moyer.
Wow.
And she was in the elevator, and this is before I knew who she was. complimented my set. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I can say Bob's Burgers thinks I'm a really excellent improviser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she was a dear. She was so awesome and so just nice and generally funny. This Improv Fest did something really cool. They had all the people that did workshops over the weekend do a set together that closed out the show. So she was one of the instructors, and oh my God, she killed me. She absolutely killed me.
And I love hearing stories about people like at that level being really nice, because that is the first level where people can really turn awful.
Yep. And she showed Jerrod. She went to the premiere. First of all, she went to the premiere, and you never know if you're a bit part, if it's going to get cut, if it's even in the movie or not. Yeah. And I was like, oh, even in animation, I thought that would be all storyboard. She says, no, they make decisions up until the last minute to cut things out for time or, that sort of thing. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And so she's like, I didn't really tell anybody I was in this movie because I've done it before. I've gotten the whole family excited, and they go and I'm not in it. And it's like, there's no worse feeling than that. So she says, I took my buddy, Sam Richardson. Do you know who Sam Richardson is? Did you watch?
I'm not familiar.
Oh, he becomes the vice president in Veep at the end. If you watch Veep, nope. African-American gentleman. He's in,
hold on. I'm binging him.
Yeah. Go. I can't believe you use Bing.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's what is it? I know him from so well.
Murder Party or Murder Mystery or Murder, the new one that came out. He's been in a lot of stuff. He
definitely has, because there's even like been commercials that he.
So he was her date because he knows what it feels like. What is he from? What do you know him from?
I Think You Should Leave. He had some great sketches.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, so she took him because she could handle it if he would be supportive if she got caught. But she was really excited. She did 2 characters and they're both in there. So she was like, everybody's got to go this weekend. We got to beat Top Gun. So I went on Tuesday because it doesn't count towards the weekend number. So I'm going to see Bob's Burgers this weekend to get the numbers up.
Like I said, I generally don't like meeting people who achieve a certain level of fame. Like, there's part of me that's curious, part of me that would like to, and I think like anybody who does any kind of, like in our case, comedy, kind of want to see, in a way, how you stack up, how you measure up. But the biggest reason I don't is I'm worried they're going to be awful.
Yeah.
And I would hate, and it's just so much of a, like, I run into awful people all the time, and it's like, that's an awful person. But when it's somebody that you're like, oh, I've enjoyed your work, you're somebody who's brought happiness and joy into my life, and they're awful, it's just such a downer.
It is a downer.
When I hear stories about people being cool, that's nice. Like I went to Podfest like 10 years ago in LA, and it was all the Earwolf podcasts that were there.
Yep.
Comedy Bang Bang. I'm a big Rich Voss fan. Him and Bonnie McFarlane's. Just so many that I've really gotten a lot of enjoyment from. And you mingle right there with them. It's a really cool time. And then a chance to talk to some people. Like there's this one guy. I don't know how he got there because you can't really do this on a podcast, but he's done it on shows. And he does Major League Baseball players' batting stances, and he does them perfectly. And like I've read about him, like he really studies them, and it's a lot of fun, the act that he does. Yeah. So talking to him after was cool because he was up there, he was doing it, he put on a fun little event thing like that. And then to find out that he was cool to talk to and they didn't have airs about him was neat and cool. And do you know the Sklar brothers?
Yes, I do.
So watched their set. We were right in the front. We did a Q&A, asked the question. A friend of mine made a joke on it. They laughed. It was really cool, really fun time. Afterwards talking, I don't know which one it was. One of them, super cool. One of them was like, we need to go. Get out. Like, he didn't want to be in our little conversation, kind of off to the side, trying to pull everybody out of it. And then the other one was right there talking. It's like, what a cool, fun, nice dude he was. And it sucks that they're identical twins because I don't know which one was which.
Yeah, one of them, they both will always be the asshole in your eyes. Like,
It's
they'll both be great.
I just know like, one of them's an evil twin. Like when
Yeah.
your evil doppelganger is that close to you,
Yeah.
you're probably blind to them being evil.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I wonder, like, if I have a doppelganger out there, because I feel like if I do, wouldn't it be wild if I have a doppelganger and find out they're like a really good person and you're the evil doppelganger? I worry about that more than I should.
Well, it's kind of funny. I'm going to say this is a self-deprecating humor, and it's going to sound sad. I don't really care, but I do get this a lot. Oh my God, I saw your double, and it happened even at the Improv Fest. Like, I swear to God, I saw you earlier, and I was like, no, you saw an overweight balding guy. It's happened so often. I'm like, they don't really look like me. There was a guy with a beard that's balding and heavy, and that you thought it was me. I get it, but no, I don't have a twin. There's a lot of overweight balding guys with beards. So you saw one of those folks, So
I always joke when people are like, "Oh, I know somebody looks just like you." I'm like, "What a handsome fella he must be! What a lucky guy he is!"
I should say that. That should be my new thing, because
I'm always in fear of that, of what you described happening. Like people like, "Oh, somebody looks just like you," and they introduce them to me, and they're like the ugliest piece.
Yeah, like I'm repulsed. I'm repulsed by them. Yeah,
and I like part of me would want to be like, he reminds you of me, this ugly piece of shit. But I don't want to be mean to that person.
No, I know. I mean, and they may be saying the same thing about you.
Yeah, no. Probably not.
All right.
They're probably like, you think I look like him? Wow.
Wow. All right, let's do plugs.
Plugs. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, did you want to go first?
No, I don't really have anything.
Okay. I am going to. Where is Amy? Had one out there because she is so good about plugging her plugs in. Amy's going to be.
Yeah.
Go to Kismet this Saturday. She's going to be doing the sketch show. Always, I will, and I know you feel the same way. We will always give Amy some plugs in here. She's
absolutely
great.
And also, I'm going to put this one up. Comedy Bang Bang's coming to Columbus. The tickets just went on sale this week. Do you know I've never, ever watched or listened to the podcast or watched the show?
Oh, really? So my podcast, I used to listen to a lot of podcasts because as my commutes have been longer, I would listen to more podcasts. Now it's such a short commute. It's like really cut out a lot of podcasts that I have listened to. So on the one hand, I'm missing out on more podcasts, but on the other hand, I hate commutes. But yeah, Comedy Bang Bang used to be kind of the centerpiece of my
everybody loves it. I just
pile right there.
When they really came up, I wasn't listening to podcasts, and then I wasn't. It was before I was into the improv scene. So yeah. So what do you got?
So Saturday, I will be performing at 7 with the Dr. Nighttime.
Dr. Nighttime doing a pseudo Harold.
Our pseudo Harold. That's right. We do our own kind of unique Harold. We have been shorthanded. Not sure. We've been missing performers like the last many weeks. So it'll be. I think this week we will have everybody there. Oh, you know who's performed with us the last 2 weeks? Emma. Oh. Emma Sacchetti, who is one of my favorite people and just one of the most talented people I know.
I'm going to make you jealous.
What?
She's on I'm on her house team.
She's the best. I've been on teams with her and everything.
No, but right now, I get to see her every other week. I get to perform with her every other week.
I just think she is so amazingly talented. I'd embarrass myself by talking about how talented I think Emma is. Tom Epstein once said Emma's only here because she doesn't realize how talented she is and moved to New York City or LA. Right. I agree with that. I just have such a high opinion of that that woman. She is incredible. But I will not be performing with Emma this Saturday. I will be performing with many other extremely talented performers. And if any young students have to be watching, chances are one of your former teachers or TAs is on Dr. Nighttime. So we'll be doing that.
7 p.m.?
7 p.m. I need to sign up because I might be hosting all Saturday. And I need to sign up and commit myself to doing it, to make myself do it. And if that's the case, Ian, I think I'm going to try to have a jam, an open jam after the shows because
Nice.
we need to start doing jams again.
I agree. I totally agree.
God jam it.
Yeah.
And then it's not this Friday, but next Friday, I'll be at Bring Your Own Improv doing short form. Warwick Center for the Arts.
At 7 and 9 or just 9 or just 7?
When I perform there, we perform it. Everybody performs at 7, also performs at the 9.
I gotcha. Well, they're going to have a choice because I will be performing with Netflix and Chill that night at 7. So,
not this Friday, but next Friday?
Yeah, not 2 days from now, but a week and 2 days from now.
But, people have a lot of great Friday night options. Not this Friday.
Well, and the thing is, you could see both. You could see both. You can come to the 7 o'clock show at Pig, and you'll be done by 8:15. That gives you plenty of time to get to Warwick for the 9 o'clock show.
That's true.
Yeah.
You get short form and long form at the same night.
We're gonna put a movie together right in front of your eyes. There will be a beginning, a middle, an end, sort of a plot, lots of characters. It'll be amazing. You're like, somebody spent 2 years writing this. No, it came up right on the spot. And Michael Amaral is our guest coach this week. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
All right. Cool. I have a surprise for you and our audience for our outro tonight. Oh, more plugs. Saturday, June 4th, 7:30. I'll be performing with both Ahoy Hades and Ragnarok at Kismet. Awesome.
Somebody somewhere should just go and start collecting improv team names because they are both all wonderful and all awful at the same time.
Exact same time.
I've been on so many teams. I've had so many improv name teams that are all wonderful and awful.
Agreed. This is going to be weird. All right. You're going to see weird. I want to share my audio, but it makes me share my screen as well.
It's going to be like a dick pic or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. That's my style.
Stay tuned.
All right. So, I don't have to put it up. Okay. Oh yeah. So that's just weird, but that's okay. Because this is what, so before I put this on, this will be our outro tonight. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will see you in 2 weeks. Topics, if you have any, send them our way because we stink at it.
Well, let me just say real quick, my friend Jessica just showed up just in time for the end of the show. Hi, Jessica. Bye, Jess.
Here we go. Have a great week, everybody. I don't hear anything. Oh, this is not working the way I hoped. Can you hear anything coming over the?
Turn it up, I could.
All right, I'll turn it up. You're just hearing it from my mic then. Let me start it over. Down by the sea and set. Here we go.
This was so smooth.
In my single down in Minnesota, or maybe down by the sea in Sarasota. They were made back in Worcester, Mass. Covered them in a baker like that. Like
Quick, before I get pulled down for
they were streamlined.
copyright infringement.
Yeah.
In the blue, Prince would run up from a dream of mine.
Just gotta get to the chorus.
Slap him up, put him on a train, out of Michigan up to Maine. Give me $5 down to Georgia, Carolina, up to 20 by the Pickwick, near country out of Waynesboro. When it's getting late and rainy out in the city, hang a Louis apple tree and the groom got herself a cheeseburger at a little tin diner, or a 6-9er. Diner, my shiny, shiny love.
Name of this song is called Diner, and it's all about diners.
Diner, my shiny, shiny love.
All right, enough of that.
That was a lot for that payoff.
That was a lot. It would have been better if it came through everybody's speakers and all that.
I don't know about that.
Should have run that by you before. All right, my friend. Have a wonderful week.
You
Thanks
too.
for hanging out. Everybody,
Bye, everybody.
we'll see you soon.